What's up, YouTube? I'm Billy, and this is my 2018 Polaris Slingshot SLR that I have affectionately named the Sling Blade. So I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you guys about the service on the Slingshot. Now, I have just tripped like 1,507 miles on this thing. I wasn't able to get in for the 500-mile service because where I bought it, there's only one mechanic that works on these things, and the time wise, and I'm just not going to stop driving it because, well, the service is due. So we scheduled it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get in until about 1,500 miles. The dealership assured me that would not be a problem, so take it at that. So this is month one with the machine, and I can tell you that I absolutely love it. It handles great. I haven't had any issues at all except for a little bit of the brake softness, which was rectified that I'll talk about in just a few minutes at the dealership when I took it in. Other than that, no real big issues. So extremely happy. I've been on a trip, a 2-day trip, 710 miles, and it performed exactly as it should. I will tell you though that getting a top for one of these is probably going to be a really good bet, only because with the sun beating down on you, you know, you'll get skin cancer in a month. So remember that when you purchase one of these things, yeah, they're great, but if you live in an area where it's super hot or super sunny, Arizona, Colorado, we have 300 sunny days a year, and you know, can get pretty burnt with it. So keep that in mind when you are looking at these. The tops are kind of expensive, but relative to what the machine cost, it's really not that bad. I think they can range from anywhere from like $1,100 up to $2,700. So depending on what you want, whether you want a soft top, whether you want a hard top, it might be something to consider as you go through here. Now, like I said, I just turned 1,500 miles, like 1,510, something like that, today. I just got back from a ride, and first impressions, you know, this is the first time I've ever owned a Slingshot, and if you're watching this, maybe it's the first time you guys have owned a Slingshot, or you're thinking about buying one. I can tell you it's a great investment. You know, it's certainly a head turner. It is. If you don't like attention, probably not the machine for you. If you know, if you don't like an open cockpit like this, like a motorcycle, probably not the machine for you. But if you're looking to go out and have a lot of fun, really enjoy shifting gears, and looking for stability, then and comfort's kind of the biggest thing, because you know, we can ride. I rode 7 hours each way, and you know, you get out, you get a little stiff because you're sitting down for 7 hours, but relatively speaking, these seats, the ones that are in the SLR version, are a little bit softer than the S or the SL or the basic, however you want to put it, version, and they do get hot. So, you know, if you're parking in the sun for any length of time, then you can expect it when you come out, it will be you know, the seat will be pretty hot. So sometimes I just like to tilt the seat forward and kind of keep the sun off of it, just to help with that. So it might be an option for you too. So I want to jump right into maintenance cost. So I mentioned the 500-mile service, and you know, I've done a lot of research prior to buying this, and I can tell you that, you know, certainly you want to follow the manufacturer's recommendations for you know, warranty purposes. But I will tell you that at the end of the day, this is it's a car motor. It's a 2.4 liter GM motor, and it should be kind of treated as such. You know, after talking with the guy that worked on the tech that worked on the machine, I mean, pretty much all he does is change the oil and grease the gear here in the center console. It's really low maintenance, so I really don't understand the cost of that. So let's jump right into maintenance cost of the machine. So what I have here is maintenance cost for the 500 mile service. Now they tell me the 5,000 mile service, which is the next service in the interval, is very similar to this. Now when I bought this, I had heard that the service could get expensive on these, and so I purchased a service plan to cover at least the first two services, the 500 and the 5,000 mile service, which is good for me just because then I don't have to come out with a large amount of money at one time. Again, if you're mechanically inclined at any point, you have the tools. This is a very simple service to do yourself. And as a matter of fact, once I get through the 5,000, the next service I will be doing on my own, just because I'm not going to pay what they charge, what the dealership charges. Now, I bought my machine from Sun Enterprises, Sun Power Sports, operating on the same name, in Thornton, Colorado. I bought mine with the Costco discount. Now, some of you don't know about the Costco discount, and that's okay, because I didn't know either until a couple of years. Who you need to go to and who the closest Costco dealer rep is for the brand of car, machine, motorcycle, ATV, jet skis, pretty much anything you want to buy that's motorized, they have a dealer for. And then you contact that dealer, and they say, okay, well, give me your Costco number, and Costco has pre-negotiated a price with that particular dealership that is far below, typically far below what they can purchase the machine for. Now, I purchased my 2015 Toyota Tundra under the Costco program, and I can tell you that I left there with instant equity, and not having to put down a ton of money, but because the price of the vehicle was so low, I had great equity, and even buy gap insurance for that. This is kind of the same. So on an average on this machine, so 2018 Slingshot SLR, I saved about $1,300 using the Costco discount, or the Costco program. I will tell you that most dealers will not tell you that they participate in it unless you ask them specifically, or you get directed to them by the Costco website, because the salesperson only makes like $75 on the deal. It's kind of a crappy deal for them, but if they treat you well, then you come back and you get to, you send other people there and so forth. What's really cool about this is the Costco program extends to service and accessories. You get like 15% off too, just for being a Costco member. So a lot of people don't know that as well. Really, something to look at if you are interested in purchasing a car, or UTV, or Slingshot. So I called Sun Enterprises. I dealt with a guy there, and I'll name him because he was good. His name was Rico, and Rico was, he's a nice guy. He certainly didn't, I guess, go out of his way. He was a good salesperson. He was polite, and I enjoy working with Rico, and I would recommend Rico there, further. But Rico wasn't making much money on this machine. I mean, this is a $30,000 machine, right? So incentive wise, he's not making a ton of money, only making $50-$75 on the deal. And I get it, right? Because that's his living, and that's how he makes his money. But from a customer standpoint, I want to make sure that I walk out of there with the best deal possible. Now, having talked to some people, some dealers are willing to negotiate, some dealers aren't, and that's completely dependent on the geographic region of the country that you're in. So, for instance, Illinois or states that are further east than Colorado that don't sell a lot of these units, they are very eager to slash the price down to sell it. States like Colorado, California, Arizona, things like this where these things sell off the shelf, they are not willing to really negotiate on the price, from what my experience is. Now, if you guys have found something different, leave a message down in a comment. Let me know. I'd be interested to know myself. But for generally speaking, that's kind of where, that's the information that I've learned. So the price of the vehicle really wasn't negotiable until I told him that I was part of the Costco program. So then then I got the Costco pricing, which again was like $1,300 below MSRP. I'm completely happy with it. you know, it was the only machine they had left, and I was there just a couple of days ago, and they still don't have any more left. So for future reference, you know, pick the one that you want, order the one you want, and if they don't want a deal on the price, then maybe it'd be worth the money, the $50 to go get a Costco membership. Moving on, let's talk about service. So I roll up, and unfortunately I didn't have my camera with me, so I couldn't document a lot of this, but I roll up to service, called them up, they got me in. Service at Sun Motorsports was phenomenal. They were very friendly. I really enjoyed talking to them. They had a nice waiting area. You know, they'll talk to you while your machine is being worked on. Dana is the mechanic there at that particular place, and he did a great job. You know, he was working on one. He's the only mechanic there, so that works on Slingshot. So he was working on one when I got there, and then he pulled mine in, took care of the service. So got it back, no issues. I'm happy. There is a recall on the seatbelt. They didn't have the part. I'll have to go back, but I'm in no big rush to that. I'll go on my 5,000 service and get that part fixed on the recall. But let's talk about what the cost is for a 500-mile service on a Slingshot. So again, 2018 SLR, I don't think it really matters what model you have if they're all the same. I mean, the service is going to be the same regardless. So this is the first service. It used 5W30 oil. Let's see here. So it looks like he used a gallon and a quart of oil. The filter, and a seal for the oil pan drain plug. That's a GM part. So the oil was $50. The filter was $15, which I feel like is kind of high, because if you guys did some research, you could see that you could get one from Napa or AutoZone and pay $6 or $7, probably half of what the latest one cost, and still get what you need. So that, and then the seal for the drain plug was $3.73. Not a big deal. So that total came to $69.06, which is not a bad deal. If you're just paying for the parts, $69. I mean, could you get it cheaper? Will I get it cheaper when I do it myself? Certainly I will. Probably closer to 50, maybe 52, something like that. I feel like I could get. Where the big price is service. So they charge 2 hours labor to change the oil, and it doesn't even look like they grease the joint under the center console. Maybe they don't do that on the 500-mile service, I don't know, but it's not listed on here. So let's see here. It says he changed oil filter, inspect air filter, inspect battery terminals, inspected coolant level, exhaust system, front suspension, steering, safety check, test ride, no issues. Those are all things that he did. That 2 hours labor to change the oil in this thing, and I can tell you, because I've done my research, it does not take 2 hours to change the oil in this machine. As a matter of fact, you can change it without even putting it on a lift or a jack stand, for that matter, in probably 30 minutes tops. With the right tools, you can get to everything that you need from the top part of the motor, and you know, if you had a jack, it's much easier to get to the drain plug, but you can still get to it without it. So 30, okay, let's say 45 minutes. 45 minutes, you can change the oil in this thing, do what you need to do. 2 hours labor, $238. So that gives me a grand total of $307.96 is what they charge for a 500-mile service to essentially change the oil in this machine. Guys, I want to thank every one of you for your likes. We're at over 100 likes now, or 100 subscribers. I'm looking to build the channel. It's going to be a phenomenal time. I'm going to bring you guys some awesome some content. Hopefully tomorrow I get a chance to show you guys some more footage. I'm hoping to get a few guys together for a ride. Tomorrow is my birthday. Kind of cool. So I'm going to celebrate it by maybe going out and trying to get a couple of Slingshots together and just taking a ride, and we'll film some and talk to some people and see what comes up. So with that, thank you again. I really appreciate it. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button down below and like this video, and we've got a lot of big stuff coming throughout the next couple of months. So We look forward to seeing you, and thanks again for watching. See ya.